quite a bit about what I was going to say here this evening. In my current job, most of my time is in public speaking land, revolves around talking about the USS Constitution, or the Navy, maybe once in a while the Red Sox. But obviously that's not the case this evening. So before I begin, I'd like, and in order to help you understand the perspective from which I generated what I'm about to say, I'd like to share with you a little bit more about myself. Like I said a moment ago, I graduated from here in 1988, and I wasn't one of you. And you can blame it all on Mr. Gold. You know, the matter of fact is, I just didn't take my education very seriously. The amount of effort I put into my time here was basically determined by what was going to keep me out of trouble. What was going to prevent my father from doing those father things. When you get home, you're not really quite cutting it. When I'm being honest with myself, I was lucky to just get into college. And it's all because I didn't apply myself. I don't think I'm an idiot. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty pleased with the way I turned out. But it's taken me quite a while to kind of look back upon myself, upon my life, and realize that I didn't take full advantage of all the wonderful opportunities that my parents presented to me. And I wish I'd learned this lesson a little bit earlier in life. And it's something that I have a regret to this day. So on that happy note. According to the National Honor Society website, I was doing some reading because, again, I'm not one of you, so I had to figure out what this is all about. Each of you is selected to join this organization because of, quote, demonstrated excellence in the areas of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. But what does that really mean? I think some of these qualifications are easier to find than others. For example, the scholastic requirements are pretty cut and dry. Your grade point average is what it is, and you either meet your requirement or you don't. And one could argue the same is true for the service category as well. But how do you quantify what is needed to meet the standards for leadership and the character traits? In other words, how do you define someone's leadership qualities? How do you measure a person's character? I'm not really sure I know right now, but it's caused me to do quite a bit of thinking. So, as I was doing this deep thinking, I remembered one of my favorite quotes. And besides just my uniform, I'm going to add a little bit of naval flavor to this evening. One of our greatest naval heroes was a man named John Paul Jones. And he once wrote down what he considered his qualifications were for a naval officer. And he said that, quote, "It is by no means that an officer of the Navy should be a capable mariner. He must be that, of course, but also a great deal more. He should be as well a gentleman of liberal education, refined manners, punctilious courtesy, and the nicest sense of personal honor. He should be the soul of tact, patience, justice, firmness, and charity. No meritorious act of a subordinate should escape his attention or to be left to pass without its reward, even if that reward is only a word of approval. Conversely, he shouldn't be blind to a single fault in any subordinate, though at the same time he should be quick and unfailing to distinguish error from malice, thoughtlessness from incompetence, and well-meant shortcoming from heedless or stupid blunder. In one word, every commander should keep constantly before him this great truth, that to be well obeyed, he must be perfectly esteemed." End quote. Now you take away all that stuff about being a naval officer and a mariner, and I think those words are a pretty good yardstick that we can measure each of ourselves by. I think what John Paul Jones was trying to say is that leadership and character go beyond the individual. And in order to gauge or quantify someone's leadership skills or character traits, you have to first look away from that person. You have to see how they impact those that are around you. And it's only then that you begin to gain your true measure of that person. So at the end of the day, Each of you was selected by your teachers because of things that might not be tangible to you just now. But I challenge you to find within yourselves what your teachers saw in you. See what your impact is on others and build on it. And who knows, 20 years from now, you might be standing where I am, trying to figure out what you're going to say. But when you are doing that, at least you won't be looking back and saying, if only I had. So again, congratulations to each and every one of you. I hope you are truly proud of yourselves, because looking at your parents and your friends and families behind you, you can see that they are. Best of luck to you in the future, and thank you again for inviting me home.